He founded Motown 60 years ago. In 1988, Gordy sold Motown in 1988. He has remained active in the entertainment business, producing the Tony Award-nominated Motown, the musical, in 2013 and managing music publishing interests. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports coming up right after this.
And in sports, promising Nigerian winger Femi Seriki has completed his transfer to English Premier League club Sheffield United. The teenager was able to join the Blades despite the close of the transfer window because he was a free agent. And Seriki suddenly found himself unemployed after Bury FC were expelled from the Football League due to financial difficulties. And Seriki was recruited by Sheffield United to bolster their youth team. Until in sports, in the Rugby World Cup, England have rung the changes for the second game of their World Cup campaign as coach Eddie Jones looks to deal with a short turnaround between matches. And only 5 of the players who started the 35-3 win over Tonga on Sunday will begin against the USA in Kobe on Thursday, with George Ford captaining the side from fly half. In their World Cup debut, 4 wingers, Rarid Makonohi and Joe Kokasinaga, as well as centre Piers Francis. And there's no place in the match day 23 for Henry Slade, who made his return from injury as a replacement against Tonga and appeared to be in some discomfort on the pitch. And that's it on Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoko.
Many thanks, Udoka Njoko. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We will be back later with more stories making the headlines. Please do join us again. I am Amaka Okoye. Do have yourselves a good day.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no?
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if the British citizen no be say you go enter Niger, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
They've seen that the diesel truck catch fire. As they try offload the diesel way they inside, come out. Fire department can't try quench the fire.
For the first time for Nigeria, every will enjoy television news for Ogbonge Pidgin English.
For more tori, make una kukuma follow us at Plus TV Africa on top Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Make una subscribe to our YouTube page and for Star Times on channel 308.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
That people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where the biggest stories live. And of course, we have interesting conversation around entertainment and bring you interesting personalities also. My name is Elsie Godwin, and I'm here with Chika Onwewu and Ifeoluwa Oshonkeye. Hey guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Looking radiant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ife, you look dashing too. Yeah.
Always,
such a handsome young man. Young handsome man.
You know I'm proud and some young.
You know if I going to be proud all through this show.
I need to give him like some ego boost so that he,
he has enough.
I want him to be on his best behavior on today's show.
Oh, am I not always on my best behavior?
Sometimes you're not.
Sometimes we all know that you're not.
That's what makes it fun. Now, you can't be on your best behavior sometimes, man. Worst behavior.
Okay.
I'm on my worst.
He said Jackson right there.
Okay, real quick before we introduce our guest, the suicide case that happened over the weekend, we've not been able to talk about it, and I think we should touch on it. Pele Pele, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I think he said he's been in music for 10
Over
years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Over 10 years.
And he just had enough.
Yeah, this is someone that was affiliated to the great Olamide. I call him great because he's helped a lot of people boost their career. We have people like Adekunle Gold doing very great things, putting Africa on the map out there. We have Lil Cash, we have Skibi, we have
Chinko Ekun one time.
Fireboy, Chinko Ekun, and all those people. All those people are prodigies of Olamide, and then suddenly they're big. And then this is one artist that was also under the record label YBNL, and it didn't happen to blow like every
It didn't happen
other
for him.
Yeah, it didn't happen for him. But I think at the end of the day, God's time is the best. Do you understand?
Yeah,
regardless of how you want to.
He didn't wait for the time.
Yeah, he didn't wait for the right time because I think even he did a freestyle video before he committed suicide, right? He did a freestyle video, and the freestyle video was so good, and I felt like if he had just left that, probably someone would have discovered him and all that. But it's so sad that he felt so depressed. He released a video saying he was depressed like a week before his suicide.
Yeah, I think
but no one took him seriously. Everybody was just like, he's just another artist trying to pull his
to be honest, the person that recorded that video, I don't. When I watched the video, at least I watched it to the end where he said, "Bro, stop the video, stop." And when he brought out what he wanted to use to commit suicide, when he said, "Okay, this is what I've already bought this, and I'm going to take it."
He recorded himself committing suicide.
No. A week before, he started with "I'm depressed, I'm suicidal." Then at the end, and he talked about how it has been depressing for him in the music scene, and when he had the biggest platform that he could have ever gotten in his life, which is YBNL, and he wasn't able to blow via that. And he's saying, I don't know. I gave myself 10 years. That if after 10 years I'm not able to make it, then maybe this is not my calling, and I don't know what my calling is. So maybe I should just kill myself. Then when it got to maybe at the 9th minute, then he brought out like the weapon of suicide, what he was going to use to kill himself, and he told the person recording the video, like, "Bro, stop the video. Bro, this is not a joking matter. I'm going to kill myself. Bro, stop the video. Stop the video." Then, because I thought maybe he put a stand to take a tripod stand to take the video, but there was somebody else there. So if there was somebody else there that was taking that video for you and saw that you had very huge suicidal tendencies, then help should have been gotten somewhere or somehow.
We've also talked about it on the show where we talk about how we are really unaware, and in fact those who think they are aware don't really understand how mental health issues work. It is very tricky, and most of us don't understand it. It's a case of, you are sad, guy, you go make her now, calm down. You don't know how far gone this person is, because it's not like malaria or fever that you say you touch the body and like, this body's hot, let's rush you to the hospital. You'll be fine, you look good, right?
But you know the crazy thing about this story is that he didn't even commit suicide in his own house.
He went to
his friend's house to kill himself, and that guy was arrested and all of that. So imagine this is a proper case of Akuba Adaba. Do you understand? Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, you don't even know who is depressed that you're harboring in your home and all of that. And then at the end of the day, you get involved one way or another. But this guy had like a whole lot of support, and people came together and they got him out of jail. So on that note, I just think we should have a 1-minute silence for Pele Pele, even though he took his life, but he's still dead, so 1-minute silence. Yeah, I think that's 40 seconds.
Okay, but I would just like to say that I think individually we should try to read up on mental health issues, find out even if it's not just for you, how to help a friend, what to say, how to say it, how to convince them to see a doctor. Because right here, once you tell them see a psychiatrist, it's like you're saying I'm mad, right? So we need to individually sensitize ourselves. I know so many organizations are trying to do this, but it's not enough, right? So Google is your friend, search, research, just learn for yourself, because it might be your child tomorrow, it might be the love of your life, it might be someone who just needs to hear the right things, right? Okay, so before we introduce our studio guest, let's go on a very quick break, and when we come back, you find out who she is.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
When you are in government, you don't see nothing wrong with whatever is happening. The moment you are out there, everything is wrong.
You can't even see many women now, and when they're there, they're not even really making a mark, and then they have an NYSC problem and this and that.
Really disastrous for a president
to even say
be unaware of the chief justice.
It's a ploy. It could be a strategy.
That strategy was very
terrible
strategy. Because the buck stops at your table.
Whether it's that we don't look after our cities, and quite frankly, Nigeria is becoming a very ugly place.
When you are the only one feeding the people with this news, and there is nobody countering them, it becomes, you know, the news.
Welcome back. Our guest on this episode is a Nigerian singer, songwriter, actress, businesswoman, television personality, and a politician who rose to prominence in 2010 as a contestant on the celebrity edition of Nigerian reality TV series, Gulder Ultimate Search. Her first taste of stardom, like some would say, was when she gave us the wonderful song Kade, which became the title track of her first album in 2006. She has been nominated and has won several awards with songs like Port Harcourt is Black. Port Harcourt is Back, African Woman, Skilashi, and Jikele. Let's make welcome the pop queen, Mumaji.
Is that the note?
Yeah, that's the drum roll. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm going to correct just a few things.
Oh, okay.
My first album was not Kade in 2010.
No, that was a single from your first album.
Oh, no, that's way back.
Oh, okay, please.
2006.
Yeah, and then you said I shot into the limelight in 2010. No, I was taking a break in 2010.
Oh,
I had been there, done and got the t-shirt. It's been a long, long journey for me.
Okay, so professionally, when did you start?
I started in 1997.
Oh, okay. It's taking us back.
So some people committing suicide after 10 years.
I would love you to touch on that, because
it's absurd, because we've been there, done and got a t-shirt. Entertainment industry is not like luxurious kind of lifestyle where you meet or you're groomed into an already made investment. So you believe in yourself, in your creativity, and you invest in yourself. Anyway, let me not talk about the show.
Have you ever been so depressed about your music career that you felt, I don't want to do this anymore?
To be honest with you, everyone in business gets depression at one time or the other. So it's for you to manage it. I mean, it's a mental health where you have to help yourself. Not even a doctor can help you. Not even a psychologist or a psychiatrist can help you. Even though they are in the picture, you need to help yourself. You know, the world is not a bed of roses where you have things planned out like this, like I'm going to have this tea in this cup and it works out like that. So you need to go with the flow, and be sensitive, be intelligent on how you handle issues. So yeah, of course, there has been times without numbers that I'd been depressed. Well, I don't call it depression, but you know, that confusion just comes in and like things don't just work out the way you want. And you don't give up, you keep pushing. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed about you is that you're a woman of many skills. You're into business, you're a songwriter, you're a musician, you're an actress, you do a TV personality, you dabbled into politics.
I mean, if
Big
Brother Naija was at the time, I'm sure she would be there.
Yeah, so
is it late now for me?
You did all of that. So, off the back of what we just discussed about the late artist, Kwele Kwele, do you think that any artist, actress, or any creative in Nigeria can make it solely on doing what they love or what they are doing presently without dabbling into other things?
Yes.
With the current, are you saying based on the current value of music in Nigeria, or are you going to say way back as your time?
No, my time wasn't even, if you find out from people like Two-Face, he would tell you, it's better now than my time. My time wasn't so lucrative. I was one of those lucky ones then. That was like a bridge between the old and the new. At the time. Like, what I'm trying to say is, music wasn't paying the way it's paying now. And there are opportunities now, unlike before. So people, the youngsters now should even see themselves lucky. Against we just doing what we love doing and not even knowing where it's going to take you. Like, I was meant to be a medical doctor. And then for fitting that, a sure career to a career that you're not sure was a huge risk. And business is risk. So you have to take the risk, bear it, hold on to your dream, and see how you can push to the next level.
So you don't think artists need to diversify and do other things?
My latest song is titled Double Your Hustle. Double Your Hustle categorically is to encourage people, not just the youngsters, but even like the older ones, to, when you're into one thing, to get involved in another, and get involved in another and another. Like you just said, I am one that has been able to share myself into different facets of life. I do this, I do that, I do that and that. And it works for me. At the end of the day, money is coming from different perspectives, different angles, different sources, and then you're good to go. Sometimes it may not be coming and raining like heavy rain that you would be expecting, but I mean, you have yourself loving to do this and you're doing it and it's paying off. You have that, you love doing it, but it's not really paying off, but you argument and all of that. Those challenges
I don't want us
as
to
well.
dwell on this, but let me just make the question specific so we can move on to other things.
Okay.
So in the case of an upcoming artist, like this guy who's saying that he's done 10 years and he can't go on anymore, my opinion, regardless of the fact that I understand mental health issues and how you can mess up your head, right? If he had other things that he was working on and those things were at least paying the bills, don't you think it would have helped him stay the course, regardless of how long it was going to take?
Depends on who you are and your mental state. You may not be able to be an artist and do other things. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
So,
because it's very demanding. You go to the studio during the day, you work all day. In the night, you have to be in the clubs to listen to the music, see what others are doing. And sometimes you may have to club till morning. By daybreak, while people are in the office that you could go do business, you're sleeping to recover. Then when you wake up from sleep, maybe you're late to an appointment or something. But you know, to juggle through other work is really not easy. So the best you can do, or the closest you can be to doubling your hustle as a musician, is to choose an area where it's almost like or related to the music business. So if he was doing something else, like maybe fashion, for instance, that would give him the freedom and leverage to wake up at any time and go into the tailoring workshop or fashion store where he sells his products, then I would say it's easier. I mean, I think they should be consulting me, these youngsters. That's just a comic relief.
So yeah, you have done all of these things. I mean, we are on this table saying that you have done all these things. How were you personally able to incorporate every other thing with music?
Not really easy. It's a tough one, but because I find myself in their shoes, I didn't plan to be that, but I'm my formation, I'm created to handle different pressures at different times. So it's a lot easier. Like I'm a mother of 3 now. This morning I had to wake as early as 4 to put my kids, put things together for them to go to school. I have 2 maids supporting me. That's a support. You pay them the salary and they do their work. Yeah, that's a support, but you as a figurehead, you have to be there to oversee things. Now I left, came here, I'm done here, I'm going to Alliance Francaise for an event. I finish and then I'm having one meeting or the other. It's you that can do that for you to say, at this point in time, I have to do this. At this point in time, you have, even when you have managers managing your career as an artist, you need to manage your timing. You need to manage your mental self to be able to get up at the time you're supposed to get up. Like a few days back, we were traveling to Oni of Ife. Yeah, and then on the way, we had issues. We slept on the road. The next morning, we continued the journey. Ordinarily, because we were tired from the stress and pressure at night, we had issues. I mean, the car didn't have a problem, but on the way, you know, anything could happen, could have happened to the car. Anything can happen anytime. So normally, for a lazy person, I won't say lazy person, for a laid-back people, group of people, because we're like 6 of us. For a laid-back group of people, we would say, okay, let's go back to Lagos. But we didn't give up. We still traveled ahead and make sure we achieve our aim, getting to our destination. So that's the spirit. When you make up your mind to say, I'm going to be doing this, that, you make yourself available to it. The guy that committed suicide, how sure are you that it was just music he was doing? But because that was his dream, to become a superstar, to be up there in the faces of people and have his records in various homes, every home playing his music, and he wants to be like probably Olamide or probably like somebody, his proteges. But life is not like that. You can't say this works for this person, it must work for you that way. I'm sure he would have taken a rain check somehow if he was properly guided. Or sometimes, like I said, you have to do these things yourself. Even though we consult, we bring in consultants, we consult with people to tell us how can I take this decision? Will this work out well or will this be this? You know, we also have to sit back and say, is this working for me? Because if I were in his shoes, at the time I'll ask myself, is this working for me? Because from when I started as an artist, I had always been a student, and I'm still a student now. I've always been a student of theater arts, even though I missed studying sciences, medicine in the university. I went in for theater arts to support myself and become an authority in the dream that I'm pursuing. Yeah? That way, I would say to myself, okay, if I'm not performing on stage, I'm writing plays. If I'm not writing plays, I'm directing plays. If I'm not directing, I'm acting in front of the screen. So you just spread yourself that way.
Okay,
I'm glad you brought up your kids while you started this talk. So that takes us to your personal life, which I was kind of trying to avoid.
Be careful, but I'm here.
So your personal life, is it safe to say you're a single mother at the moment?
Whatever you say, it depends on your interpretation. And I won't hold you hostage for anything because that's your thinking, that's you, that's your interpretation of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I will respect your view about me.
So no, it's a question. That's why I said, is it safe?
How do you say it?
How I see myself? Well, I wouldn't like to say how I see myself, whether I'm a single mom or I'm still married or I'm no longer married, but I know that I'm separated.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also know that I was married for 6 years. I was submissive. I was one of the best housewives the world could ever imagine.
Talking about, talking about the best housewives, and you've talked about how you have to juggle your taking care of 3 children and everything you have to do, right? So there's an opinion that as a woman in the industry, there is enough stress already and a barrier, and then the challenges of having marriage and children, it affects your career sometimes negatively. Would you say this has happened to you in any way?
Well, I didn't let that happen to me.
But you once said you gave up your career for your family.
You know, like I said, when you believe in something, you go for it. I personally took a break when I wanted to get married. As soon as I finished the Good Oratomy Search in 2010, that was why I was correcting her by saying that 2010 was a break period for me. It wasn't when I started my career. You know, like as soon as I'd finished the Good Oratomy Search, I said to myself, it is time to take a break for 2 reasons. The first reason is I believe that there is divinity in the creation of womanhood. So it's my responsibility as a woman to partner with God to procreate. So what time do I have to do that? As an artist who wakes up in the morning, sit down and a makeup artist rubs on my face, and then I put on my dress, I go psychedelically on the street, and I go, people, oh, Mama G, people hail you and all of that. In the night, you're in the club, you're on stage, you're all of that. What time do you have? I said to myself, okay, if I have to fulfill this part, because I want to make heaven. I want to live the way God wants woman to live, like a woman to live. And that's why I made a woman. I have to get married to have kids. I don't believe in having kids out of wedlock. And that's why people see me like I have 3 kids. And they wonder, are all your 3 kids from one man? And I go like, yes, it's from a marriage as well. They're products of a marriage. You know, so I had to take a break, put everything on hold. Not because I don't love my career, not because I don't want to take it to the next level, but just for the singular reason that I have to respect the word of God and give time to it. And let it grow like you brew drink, and you let it ferment, you let it go through the procedure to mature, and then I could come back to my career. But unfortunately, the other partner didn't see things my way, and he had his own plans as well. Or probably it just happened that he wasn't just stable enough to stay, and he left.
So a little bird told me about this your Brazilian Connect and something that is brewing and something that is coming.
What is the name of the little bird? Is it Okeneri? Do you know Okeneri, the one that talks too much?
No, but I know Tweety.
So it's Tweety that told you.
Yeah, Tweety told me. So tell us about that. What are you working with the Brazilians, and what is it about?
Well, you know, our culture is we as a people, is what unifies us as a people. And if you look at Nigeria, we have diversity. We're destined and we're blessed with diversified, multicultural background. In the whole of this, we have the Oduduwa Nation. The Oduduwa Nation has given birth to all various, so many, not all, I won't say all part of Nigeria, but various tribes in Nigeria. And so like the ancient Benin Kingdom migrated from Oduduwa. My tribe in Rivers State, the Ekpe tribe, where I'm a high chief. Anyway, like you can see there, I'm a funky high chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, so where I come from, Ekpe tribe. The Ekpe tribe migrated from the ancient Benin, and the ancient Benin migrated from the Oduduwa Nation. So as other various tribes do. You know, and surprisingly, we have the Oduduwa Nation in another country called Brazil. Surprisingly. Their culture, their food, everything they do, the rituals, even to the rituals they do, is like what the Yorubas do. Not it's like, it's exactly what the Yorubas do. And so they like to, at the time or the other, trace their lineage to their motherland, which is Nigeria. So we just, a group of persons, we just sat down. I have a colleague of mine in the system. I call him my boss because he came up, he kick-started it, he kick-started everything. Ajoyomi. 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 Oh, yeah. I owe you one for that. Yeah. Ajoyomi just said to me, this is what's on ground. You know, the Brazilians are crazy about coming to Nigeria. And me being the wizard in creativity, I'm like, oh, that's great. We can have this done, linking the Brazilians and the Nigerians under my program, Culture Rocks. And they said, yeah, we've been on this since Mama G. This is a great do. Let's do it. And then Ojoyomi has all it takes to link up the Brazilian government, which he has already done. And then on this side of it, we have the Oni of Ife, who is, I would say in spiritual terms, the physical body of the descendancy of Oduduwa.
Okay, because of time though, when is this happening?
Well, we are working towards November. Okay. There is, I won't say much about it, but there is this Black History Month, Black History Month, coming up in November. So in Brazil, we're going to be moving in the entourage of the Oni of Ife to Brazil. And we're going to do like a cultural exchange between Nigeria and to Brazil.
Okay, we hope to have you.
But wait,
hopefully,
I know we have to go. But finally, you know what? There's something that always happens on this table, and I'm sure people have missed your voice, even though you dropped the brand new song in January. So can you just sing us out of the show, please?
Okay, that will be after my wrap-up, though. That's exactly how I wrap up this episode. You can join the conversation as usual on social media by using the hashtag #TeaTime or Twitter to us at +TV Africa. My thank you as always to go to my co-anchors, Ifeoluwa Oshuke and Chika Mwewo, and the entire production team, and of course our studio guest Mumaji. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Elsie Godwin saying thank you for watching, and over to Mumaji. Sing us.
And I say, I tell you, make you double your hustle. Come on, double your hustle. I say, make you double your hustle. Hey, double your hustle. I say, make you double your hustle. Double your hustle. If the guy.
Country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for +TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if a British citizen no be say you go enter Nigeria, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
Them say na the diesel truck catch fire as they try offload the diesel way dey inside. Come out, fire department come try quench the fire.
For the first time for Nigeria, every will enjoy television news for Ogbonge Pidgin English.
For more tori, make una kukuma follow us at +TV Africa on top Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Make una subscribe to our YouTube page and for Star Times on channel 308.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on +TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and other pressure groups across the country has urged Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, to end what they say is the persecution of Omoyele Sowore. Can and will he adhere to the admonition? And also, the Police and the Police Service Commission has been a tough war over the recruitment of 10,000 constables over whose right it is to conduct the exercise. Is the feud caused by the recently passed police reform bill? This is Plus Politics, and I am Felicity Ezewike. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sent an open letter to Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, urging him to use his position to halt what they say is the prosecution of Omoyele Sowore and Olawale Bakari. The duo has been charged with charges of terrorism, fraud, and insulting President Muhammadu Buhari. With me to discuss this is two gentlemen. Noble Obasi is a legal practitioner. Thank you very much for coming to the program.
Fidelity. My pleasure to be here.
And of course, we have a regular here, Lester Wilkers, political analyst. Pleasure to have you join us once again.
It's always my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Let me come to you. A lot of persons have called for the release of Omoyele. They say that he's not been prosecuted, he's been persecuted. Is the government guilty as charged?
Oh, well, thank you, Fidelity. Well, on the issue of Omoyele Sowore, the law is very clear on how you arrest and detain citizens of this country. Because according to this, the Constitution, which is the ground norm, which is what we operate on, it says that when
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years. 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
That money will shoot every person that we know can shoot. We don't let people die there.
You could have killed me for a long period of time.
That time why I carry gonorrhea. I first go hospital first, but it no go. Now I come make that mama.
He just pulled it, he pointed and shot.
They suffer too much. They suffer too much.
Issues around the Nigerian police. We have to tackle it holistically.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. we go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
Country people, we thank you now that they joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if the British citizen no be say you go enter Niger, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
They've seen the diesel truck catch fire as they try offload the diesel way they inside. Come out, fire department can't try quench the fire.
For the first time for Niger, every will enjoy television news for Ogbonge Pidgin English.
For more story, make una kukuma follow us at Plus TV Africa on top Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Make una subscribe to our YouTube page and for Star Times on channel 308.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and other pressure groups across the country has urged Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, to end what they say is the persecution of Omoyele Sowore. Can and will he adhere to the admonition? And also, the Police and the Police Service Commission has been a tough war over the recruitment of 10,000 constables over whose right it is to conduct the exercise. Is the feud caused by the recently passed police reform bill? This is Plus Politics, and I am Felicity Ezewike. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sent an open letter to Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, urging him to use his position to halt what they say is the prosecution of Omoyele Sowore and Olawale Bakari. The duo has been charged with charges of terrorism, fraud, and insulting President Muhammadu Buhari. With me to discuss this is two gentlemen. Noble Obasi is a legal practitioner. Thank you very much for coming to the program.
Fidelity. My pleasure to be here.
And of course, we have a regular here, Lester Wilkers, political analyst. Pleasure to have you join us once again.
It's always my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Let me come to you. A lot of persons have called for the release of Omoyele. They say that he's not been prosecuted, he's been persecuted. Is the government guilty as charged?
Oh, well, thank you, Fidelity. Well, on the issue of Omoyele Sowore, the law is very clear on how you arrest and detain citizens of this country. Because according to this, the Constitution, which is the ground norm, which is what we operate on, it says that when there is an arrest of a citizen of this country and subsequent detention, such person should be charged to the court within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, that's if the court is within 48 kilometers radius. However, if the court is not within 48 kilometers radius of where the person was arrested and detained, then after 2 days, the person should be charged to court. So for Omoyele Sowore to still be in the custody and being charged perhaps after 45 days?
Yes.
That's on last week Friday.
Is this continued detention in this instance? Because 45 days is what the court gave to them. Can they or do they have the legal rights to hold him for more than those days?
I don't think so. They don't have any legal rights.
Okay. Let me come to you, Mr. Wilkers. Well, your reaction to the new treasonable charges, fraud, insulting the president, and this was filed on Friday. What is your reaction?
I am very much sympathetic to Mr. Sowore. We shouldn't have gone to this point that Mr. Sowore has led himself and led a lot of Nigerians to. If at the time that Mr. Sowore was going on his wild goose chase, SERAP and other notable personalities have called him to order and have told him, gentleman, you need not go this route. If they had done that, where elders have spoken to him, his family members, and people of note, let me take SERAP today that is calling for his release, or those who are saying Mr. Sowore is being persecuted rather than prosecuted, if they had, so at the time Sowore was going for his wild goose chase, had called him to order and said, you don't fight the state in this manner, maybe he wouldn't have gotten to this level. As for his arrest, there must be law and order in a society. Nobody wakes up and starts threatening the entire country. It's not done anywhere. Even where we copied our democracy. It's not done anywhere.
But does it justify his actions? They said he's trying to topple the government. But looking at the scenario that we have right now, has he actually showed true cause? You say if you go to court, the onus is to prove the case.
Yes.
Is he really calling for a revolution to topple the government?
That is what the prosecution will present before the court, and his lawyers will puncture at the court.
But in your opinion,
in my opinion, I've not seen the charge. I've not seen the investigation file. I don't have preview to all that had transpired. All I can say from this point is the actions that we have seen, either on the pages of newspaper, on social media, on speeches that has been made, and all. That's what I can base now. The nitty-gritty, because he's been charged for treasonable felony, he's been charged for money laundering, he's been charged of insulting the president. For me, I think that's a ridiculous one. I don't, because this president has stomached all insults. His obituary, they made the caricature of his obituary.
Well, doesn't that bring to mind the fact that maybe there those people that are saying these are trumped-up charges may have a point?
Why don't they why don't they go to the court? You see, simple things. And I think in this country we should stop overheating the politics or overheating the country because everyone wants to become relevant. At this point, Mr. Sowore is under arrest, lawful arrest. Now, my brother talked about 48 hours being held. Now, after 48 hours, what did the DSS do? They approached the court and asked for 90 days. Let's get something clear. He was arrested based on information of treasonable felony. Okay? That's why he was arrested. Sowore has gone around the whole country canvassing for votes. Sowore has held press conferences. Sowore has even disrupted, he didn't start his activism today. He has disrupted programs that are going on in New York and other places held by the federal government and officials. He has gone around the country talking about Nigeria, how to make Nigeria better, until the election. Nobody has arrested Sowore. So Sowore now woke up one day and said he's doing revolution now. No, there must be no law enforcement agency, no security apparatus anywhere in the world will fold their arms and said somebody wants to do revolution. The first thing about revolution is what? Violence takeover. That is revolution. That is the simple definition.
Okay,
or heavy attack on, and if I say revolution, you want to declare revolution on a particular subject, it means heavy attack on that subject.
Okay, let me interrupt you and get a bit of clarity on the aspect of this Cybercrime Act. I think that's what it is called, Cybercrime Act in Nigeria. Serap, in their statement, alluded to the fact that a high-ranking member of the Ministry of Justice or thereabouts said they were going to review an aspect of the Cybercrime Act that deals with insulting public officials. And Serap, they are saying that it is being used in this case and has been done previously to undermine freedom of expression. What is your take on this? If you can just clarify that aspect that they're talking about and your general take on this.
Okay, so for the Cybercrime Act, I want to believe that it's an act meant for, say, perpetrators of internet fraud. And in the case of freedom of speech, so I believe it's a ground norm in the Constitution under the fundamental human rights that each citizen in Nigeria has the right to freedom of speech. However, once you abuse your freedom of speech, for example, when you go into defamation and perhaps libel, then obviously your right is violated. So for the Cybercrime Act to want to infringe into freedom of speech, I feel it's unnecessary. I feel freedom of speech on its own is something which we as human beings, we are bound to have. And for us, we need to express it freely without no interference or without no fear from any authority whatsoever, in as much as we do it in the right way and in as much as we say the right things and at the right time.
Okay, there are so many issues to look at here, but I want to take still on that Serap statement, because that's particularly what we're emphasizing on. An aspect of it says laws against terrorism and money laundering should be properly used and not to undermine critical voices, activists and the media. The statement also said invoking the charges of treasonable felony to unjustifiably or arbitrarily restrict the right of freedom of opinion would minimize the seriousness of which our laws traditionally treat such offences and undermine the essence of the criminal justice system as well as the rule of law. Do you agree with this position?
Honestly, I would not totally agree with that. Okay, because, so, treasonable felonies, these are offences which warrants perhaps death penalty. Because it's an offence which touches on the state of the nation. And I believe if anyone is found guilty for that, the person should go in for that. But however, since it's a very heavy offence to prove, so once you allege that someone has committed a treasonable felony, you have to go through you have to make sure it is well established so that you don't punish the innocent person. Okay, so for what Serap is saying, I would not totally agree with that. I would believe that being a law, anybody that infringes the law should go in for it. However, if for the authority to establish that people infringe the law, then they have to go all extent, because in the law courts, it's always beyond every reasonable doubt. So you have to prove beyond every reasonable doubt that that is the offense. But if there is an iota of doubt, I don't think the offense will fly.
I'll come back to you to talk about what Senior Advocate of Nigeria said. But let me bring you in and ask you about this request by Serap to Malami to, drop the charges against Sowore. They are saying it is persecution, not a prosecution. Do you think at this stage that the AGF can do anything, considering the fact that the case is up in court on Tuesday?
The AGF
tomorrow?
at any point in time can enter nolli prosecution on any matter that, in his opinion, he considered cannot be sustained based on evidence available, or in any manner he just so feels. He can wake up from the rest of his bed, maybe he had a dream and he himself and Sowore were sharing a glass of wine in a dream, and he just wake up and enter nolli prosecution. That's what the law allows the AGF to do. But such right, of course, such privilege must be expressed, must be exercised within context of national security and nationalism.
But can he drop it as he requested
as it is now,
considering that it's...
As it is now, I don't think the AGF has any reason to. Okay? He can enter it at any point in time. Even when address has been taken, I wait so long as, even on the day of judgment, he can say enter nolli prosecution and then end the matter. The issue now is this. I think Serap is jumping the gun, and we cannot have a good society if civil societies do not partner with government on issues of national security. You see, that you're a civil society doesn't make you automatic critic of government, or every action of government is under your scrutiny and criticized. You don't say anything good about government. Okay? That's where I started my opinion from. Where you're a civil society, Serap is a respected civil society, and they have done quite a subset. But if you see yourself as always opposed to government actions, then I think you have other things other than being a formidable civil society group. And I said it clearly. When Sowore was contesting election... Has
Serap actually presented themselves, in your opinion, over the years with their agitation for public rights and, good governance and all of that? Have they presented themselves in any way as to be considered not credible enough to speak on this particular issue?
They have a right to speak. I'm not denying their rights. But again, their right now is to our public scrutiny and critique. Serap has intervened in so many issues, which is their legitimate right to do. But me, I'm saying, is it everything that government does that you find fault? Are there no things that government... I've never seen Serap come to praise the government. I've never.
But in this particular instance, let's not get distracted. Yes. In this particular instance now, the case before the court, that will come before the court again tomorrow.
Yes.
You're saying that their priority is misplaced at this time?
At this time, totally misplaced. And I'm happy that the lawyer is saying that he doesn't agree with Serap, because I didn't agree with them in fact, in any respect of ramification. Let me say this, and I said it clearly in my opening statement. When Sowore started this wild goose, because I've heard a wild goose chase, Sowore does not possess, I don't know, but from the face value, Sowore did not possess any capacity to bring down a government. I know that from face value. However, I do not know the underground plans and the underground currents that were following his actions. Because at some time they said, when you see a bird dancing in the middle of the road, the drummer may be inside the bush.
Okay.
So just let me tie this in. Okay. So Sowore actions, utterances, statements, maybe intentions, for me, runs contrary to national security, and for which if Serap really have loved Sowore and loved this country, will have called Sowore to order well in her head and say, the area you're going is very non-sustainable.
All right, Noble, would you want to add a thought to that, or I should go straight to the question?
Okay, so initially, let me just put in a few words. So initially, I talked about the fact that I do not totally agree with the position of Serap.
Yeah, so a particular phrase
yes, that particular phrase. So to an extent, I believe the society is meant for people to check. Okay, so the citizens is supposed to checkmate the government policies
of the government.
Exactly. And if SERAP as a body or perhaps as an organization is always out there to criticize the policies of the government, I think it's quite healthy. I'm not undermining the fact that there might be certain things which they would do or certain statements which they would do which might not totally fall into place with the intentions of this nation. But however, what they are doing to try to canvass support for Sowore, to an extent, is appreciable. It's appreciable. But however, when they are doing those things, they need to do it within the ambit of the law.
Still talking law now, because that's your area of specialty. The senior advocate of Nigeria, a senior advocate rather, Michael Ozekome, we know him, everybody knows him, you know him. He has come out in an interview to say that the new charges against Sowore is dead on arrival. Do you share similar opinion?
To be honest with you, I didn't watch the interview, but from my own perspective, I want to say
the charges basically, like we've highlighted here, has to do with money laundering, insulting the president, you know, and some other issues. And he's saying that these new charges that's being brought against Sowore is dead on arrival, in his opinion, because he is a senior advocate of this country. It's fair enough to take his opinion into consideration. That's why I'm asking you that question.
I totally agree with some of the what his opinion on some of the charges, because, for example, when you say insulting the president, I mean, you cannot categorize it as an offense, because under the law, for any offense.
Just hold on to that thought, right? We will go on a very, very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Do stay with us.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still here talking about the Showere's situation, his continued incarceration. I still have my guest with me. Before we went on that break, we're talking about your reaction to Mike Ozokome, a senior advocate of Nigeria, saying that the case, the new charges, is dead on arrival.
Yeah. Okay. So as regards Mike Ozokome SAN's comment on Showere's incarceration, on the case of Showere's incarceration being dead on arrival, well, from my own point of view, I would say some of the charges in which is being alleged by the state that Showere committed are charges which are laughable. I would say they are laughable because, say for example, an insult to the president. I mean, if you're a public officer, you're already out there. I don't think that should constitute an offense, because people would definitely throw one or two words which wouldn't go well with your personality. But then again, under the law, any offense that is unknown to the law is not an offense. So insulting the president is not an offense. So on that particular charge, I believe that particular charge would not fly. Also, on the other charges, treasonable felony. I mean, treasonable felony. These offenses are very, very difficult very, very difficult to plead and get conviction for. I mean, it's because it's a very weighty offense, and the allegation is so heavy that you really need to prove it. If not, somebody's life, somebody's perhaps career, somebody's future is in their jeopardy. So until I see the charges, until I see the ingredients of the charges of those offenses, I will be able to say whether these are actually I would be able to,
all of them are dead on arrival.
Exactly, to kind of point out whether all the charges are dead on arrival. So the money laundering, I think money laundering is part of it. It's part of the charges. Yeah. So on the issue of the money laundering, I mean, under the Act, so it says that anyone that gives or collects any amount of money above 500,000 naira without consummating the transaction through a financial institution commits money laundering. So I would, if that is actually the case, then perhaps most people in the country might fall short of that offense. So I wouldn't really think so. But like I said earlier on, until I see the ingredients of the charges, will I be able to give my 100% opinion on that?
I would say that Mike Ozokome will always want to deceive Showere, because maybe he wants some of his legal fees paid.
But he's not the only lawyer.
He has deceived a lot of people. He's a good lawyer. I respect him. At the same time, when you see, there's not this class of lawyers. One cut on political lines, and the other one anti this party, pro this party, or this government anti this party. And
I'm coming. I'd rather, Mr. Wilkers, just to interrupt you, I'd rather we look at the issue, not at the leanings, political leanings.
I'm sure.
The conversation in this premise.
Let me also say that if some other person, God forbid, maybe a Fashola or an Amechi was charged in this May, will he speak that way? That is where I'm going. But let me say this. You don't come up as a lawyer, as a son, that you've not gone to court to see the ingredients and to see their evidence adduced by the prosecution, and you say it's dead on arrival. Look, what lawyers like Ozokome does is technicalities. They don't want to go. How many cases have gone on trial? Why do you have civil judgment? It's because of technicalities. They look technicalities and a case will last 4 or 5 years in the court and it does not finish trial. So while I want those cases to be done on arrival, because let me sympathize with Showere again publicly, that his home people, his elders and Serap and Ozokome and Co will have called him to order before the date of his proposed
revolution and order. Okay,
I'm
told we have limited.
Now he has gone to this level. Let Ozokome go to court, pick up the charges and defend Showere.
All right, on final thoughts, I'm told we have less than 2 minutes to go. Senator Shehu Sani has come up to say that this situation with Showere is putting a strain on the human rights record of this present government. Let's not forget that Showere is not the only one that's incarcerated. Yes. Some journalists are being detained, and they have yet to be, given their day in court.
Let me say this.
So, okay, could you speak in 1 minute?
Yes,
and you 1 minute,
quickly.
please.
During the first term of this government, I don't think anybody will say his right, his freedom was breached in any way. I don't think anybody. There's no political prisoner in Nigeria. I don't think anybody was arrested or any newspaper house or any house, media house attacked or broke down. I can't remember. If it happens, maybe because of NCC problem with maybe a media house and all that. So nobody's right has been infringed. Showore went around this country campaigning for election. Nobody talked to Showore. Nobody infringed on his right. Showore woke up one day and so she was standing and look, I sympathize with Showore, sincerely. But at the same time, my allegiance to the state. Right, if he has a case to answer within the state, sincerely, let him go and have his day in court and get his name cleared and let Nigerians move forward.
Please, Noble.
Okay, so my final thought on this is that, in as much as I believe that everyone is presumed innocent until being proven guilty at the court of law. So I would say that Showore has been already charged, as we have seen. The court should take its course. But however, like I would say, Nigerians are a bit intention now as regards what the court will bring out. Because most people are like, oh, will the court give adequate judgment? Will the court not give adequate?
Considering the scenario that we have.
Exactly, and considering the fact that some courts have this kind of mindset about the government not being a respecter for rule of law. And from my own point of view, I would just say the court should, Showore and the state should go to court and try it out. But then again, this is our country. We still believe in the supremacy of the law, and we still believe in our courts.
All right,
just to add seriously, let his lawyers help him better by not using technicalities to delay his trial.
All right,
let them try the case expeditiously and dispose it off.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for wholeheartedly sharing your thoughts with us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we go on a short break, and when we come back, we will take this conversation to the next level. Just stay with us.
Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
When you are in government, you don't see nothing wrong with whatever is happening. The moment you are out there, everything is wrong.
You can't even see many women now, and when they're there, they're not even really making a mark, and then they have an NYSC problem and this and that.
Really disastrous for a president
to even say
be unaware of the chief justice.
It's a ploy. It could be a strategy.
That strategy was
very
terrible strategy. Because the buck stops at your table.
Whether it's that we don't look after our cities, and quite frankly, Nigeria is becoming a very ugly place.
When you are the only one feeding the people with this news, and there is nobody countering them, it becomes, the news. That money we shoot every person that we know can shoot. We don't let people die there.
You could have killed me for a long period of time.
Is that time why I carry gonorrhea? I first go hospital first, but it no go. Now I come make that mama.
He just pulled it, he pointed and shot.
What is the soul of a man?
They suffer too much. They suffer too much.
Issues around the Nigerian police, we have to tackle it holistically.
Shehu Sani, Senator, formerly representing Kaduna Central at the National Assembly, has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to urgently intervene in the ongoing feud between the Nigerian Police Force and the Police Service Commission over the recruitment of 10,000 constables. This is coming barely 5 months after the signing of the police reform bill by the Nigerian Senate. That's in April 2019. So, can we say this was inadequately covered in the bill? With me to discuss this are, still from the last session, Noble Obasi. Thank you very much, a legal practitioner, for joining us. And of course, we have a new entrant, Lolu Elegbe, political analyst. A pleasure to have you join us.
Good evening.
Okay. Is this an inadequacy? Let me start with you. Is this an inadequacy in the police reform bill? Let's just start from that.
Well, I guess it's about interpretation, like most of these bills are. I don't think it's so much an inadequacy as how it's interpreted in different, well, I guess you interpret it depending on where you look, which context you're looking at it from. In terms of, in terms of recruitment, I know there were some changes that were made in how that's going to be done on how that's supposed to be done, even right from how the Inspector General of Police is appointed. I think the new law says that he will be appointed from a list of 3 applicants who are sent to the president by the Police Service Council and all that, which wasn't what the case was. So they've made those changes, but no law is perfect. And the way it's about continuous improvement. So even though issues like this recruitment are not, well, there's the adequacy question, but if you pass a law and you find out that there are gaps, or we should have dealt with this thing, we haven't, that's why you have amendments to some of these laws sometimes. So if there's this whole feud or argument with I don't understand well, not that I don't understand, but I don't see the point of it. Because if there are gaps, which they're saying there, I'm not sure why they see it as gaps, but clearly they do. But if there are gaps, all you have to do is sit down, look at putting in amendments to some of these laws. No, there's no law in the world that on the day it was passed covered every single thing. It's not possible. That's why we have amendments. You keep adding to them and you keep improving them, and that's how laws get strengthened over a period of time.
All right. So riding, sorry to interrupt you. Riding on the thoughts about constitutionality and all of that. The president has been approached in this matter, and he is reportedly said to have confirmed the constitutionality of the mandate of the Police Service Commission to recruit police personnel. Why the Inspector General of Police is on the other divide. He's saying that they have the authority to recruit. Again, Shehu Sani comes here. He says the president should intervene. It looks like he has intervened already. Should he now wield the big stick? Let me bring Noble in, and then you could add your thoughts.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, from the Police Service Commission Establishment Act of 2001, it's Section 6 is very clear that the Police Service Commission has the power to perhaps recruit and appoint and even promote officers, except the Inspector General of Police, that's officers of the Nigerian Police Force. So for the president to intervene and come into the disagreement between the two parties, I think he clearly understands the position of the law. And then again, the Police Service Commission bill, which was signed by the Nigerian Senate 5 months ago, it's a bill. So the president has not assented to that. So the position of the president stands, because the position of the president is not like it stands, but what I'm trying to say is the president draws his own position from the act, which is the Police Service Commission Establishment Act of 2001, which was very clear on who should handle which role and and who shouldn't handle any role. So I think at some point the Police Service Commission kind of perhaps delegated, say the recruitment functions to the Nigerian Police Force. But then again, it's delegation. So obviously, I mean, from delegation, you have like an authority which delegates, some duties. So From my own point of view, I think what the president did was right. I mean, he just simply followed, the position of the law.
I know you would want to add a thought, but we need to move on. We don't have much time. The police, a commissioner from the Police Service Commission, is the one raising the issue of corruption at the moment. And this whole controversy, social commentators are saying that it defies logic. What is your take?
So what defies logic?
The tough war between the two parties.
Well, I wouldn't say these kinds of tough wars are not strange. They're not new. Let me not say they're not new. Because there's always going to be that issue of who has like you said, the position of the law is clear. But the position of the law and how people choose to interpret it are two completely different things. So while the law says that the Police Service Commission is responsible for X, Y, Z,